Agada.
Mbijan raganya.
Albaka.
Mbaka important.
Yo, nga transfer la sto.
Ya transfer la.
Ha, code nyenji.
Okay. What's Nsila ID soto.
Sa soto. Sorry. Agada.
Mbijan bro.
Albaka.
Mbaka.
Bara Allah service o tariya. Mbale ki janna nun kunu bara tariya.
Jannom yona forest de bureau. Gambia tonkon na no mbali ya bere. Birim koyna fo kato.
Bari si kodo kino kato ni fo bolong labe.
56 branches mola soto Gambia jam.
Ha?
Gambia kono ani Gambia bantala bankol. Nka kodo kiya bere. Kodo sifa fo falindiro fo nyaadi lafta même na kodi to poto nin kodi maraw. Jannom number 1 ti nyonta. Andum fana nata anoda enterprise sotale. Wolam nyindi ko domorol fana kol fana be firale de dadi man domorol dir fana beteat. Gambia dawda yalo ngam fa kendol sotale je.
Wo moyo diat
apelenta
baraka ni na lafta nyelan kendol e bina.
Yalo bukani la ko la baraka ba.
Yalo ndel chosano lo.
Baraka.
Him that the last time he sent the money, it was not enough to buy all the provisions.
Oh, sorry, I forgot to tell him.
Are you guys talking about money transfer to buy provisions?
Yes.
But don't you know about Baluwo?
Baluwo? What is Baluwo?
Baluwo is a service that your son can use to send provisions directly to you guys from the shop. And you don't have to worry about the exchange rate.
Tell me how Baluwo works.
It's very simple.
Just log on to baluwo.com and shop, or download the app on your phone. You can shop on the website or using the app to buy online basic products for your family and friends. With Baluwo, you decide what your money is spent on. Your money, your choice. Buy online products for your family and friends in the Gambia, Senegal, Nigeria or Mali. Baluwo, better than sending money.
For the first time in the history of the Gambia, Gambia Printing Publishing Corporation proudly introduces the Biliomatic exercise book printing machine. The machine has the capacity to print more than 20,000 books per hour. Yes, 20,000 books per hour. It also prints magazines, newspapers, calendars, flyers, normal books and all kinds of printed documents plus items at affordable prices. With the Biliomatic printing machine, GPPC can now render high quality and non-size restricted printing service supply across the sub-region. Rush now and partner with GPPC for all your public and private printing service needs. Print with us today and you'd be offered highly professional, reliable and efficient service delivery by our team of experts. The Gambia Printing and Publishing Corporation is here to meet all demands and is reliable at all times. For more info, contact us on 437-4493 or 437-4402. GPPC is Gambian and it's yours.
Soto mandi na pare nyumba.
Ali manna sikula. Na kibaro la soto kabonna banko. Itole mi itande na linga minti invoice bala mangi kilimo. Yamna man filo soto alla jogoba.
Hani mon filo soto kandu silula kemo nkata ngolo bondije ka fome we folen tax.
We fonden mu. Kabre mu mala ko lewdal. Mune fomu wati. Hey, yalla tembe me fole. Ila boss man na sai jal ben ko be jola sai.
Withholding tax. Coming aya fonye nyami wala mnamuti membe larin contract jolta kabo contractor la jolto ika do kuel menke anin ika safari to mix supply abe wol kono technical wala consultancy services sidula ke modo sidula tak ika wala bondi Gambia dingol tato anin sidula tanelu wala ka bo safari la tato mun yalo ko wol make Gambia dingoti mi yeta do kuola ika fo mi contracti wala nyanda kanyi namo jo tata Gambia office bunda to mun yalo ko wala be mararing na namo la ko kenyala andu joro anyanta kera karo men ya kuntu ka boyla joto wala karo men be wodo man janning ala titan dilo de timman
sai mun de la na faade wo
ila na faamu min dige wala min ndiko mais certificate le dire la mi alon ko ni bita jiade ibo wala sambala nyola
mu nekk da sibla tam ñi na le min bonen na imposo
wasidu la tango wala be bole ile ko doto inyanta kamu jona modo
ye so akamuna o sibla tam ñi munde la advance na mu jolde
bo wala nyama
ba ko wajenta ka ñim fonte ndul be ngaro ne ko bankola jurwana la ñaruta so ni banko di wala na mu jolla
ana wato
ñing kibaro potanali Gambia Revenue Authority le nimmil lafta kuma koyo sotola ila namoto ika famie withholding tax akata ye futa GRA la bundato min sutiya tela Gambia Revenue Authority ibe namu kaniwala bankola nyato tale
GRA bankola namu nyana jola tukare kana nyina.
Hello and welcome to the brunch on Kerr Fatou Live. I'm Lamin Cham and welcome to our weekly look at current affairs in the Gambia and especially today abroad. Senegal, our neighbor, is continuing to be in political turmoil, and the world or ECOWAS countries, including the Gambia, of course, are all expressed concern about the situation in Dakar and other towns. So today we will continue our discussion on what are the problems or analysis of the problem in Senegal. And with me in the studio to do that is Dr. Cherno Amadou, who is the Vice Chancellor of the IOU, that is the International Open University. He is here with us. And so also is Mr. Edi Jamanka, a blogger, radio presenter, and who also, I am told, does something to do with music as well. So welcome, Mr. Jamanka.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Cham, and thanks to all your viewers of this wonderful show called the Brunch. Yes, I am a radio presenter on Capital Radio, Capital FM, and also an artist, a singer, and somebody also who follows Senegalese issues keenly.
You go also by another moniker.
Yes.
Papa
Jams.
Papa Jams is the name that's familiar to most of your many followers of Capital Radio. Welcome. Now, today we will begin by trying to analyze exactly the situation that happened that led us to here. But first, some updates. Of course, we know now officially 16 people were known to have been killed in the disturbances that followed immediately after the handing down of the sentence on opposition leader Usman Sonko. Sonko himself remained under house arrest, so to speak. He was actually under house arrest even before the sentencing. Well, he's still yet to be taken to prison. Meanwhile, President Macky Sall has called for a national dialogue. And recently we heard that, in fact, a task force was set up who are tasked to study and consult opinion leaders and, people of substance in Senegal and report to him in 15 days' time. Meanwhile, though, tension still continues because even today we had a movement calling themselves June 23 are supposed to stage a demonstration today against the any suggestion or suspicion of Macky Sall wishing to go for a third term. So, let me turn to Dr. Cherno Amadou. Doctor who studied in Senegal, studied in France, very familiar with the Francophone constitutional arrangements, especially that of Senegal. Please tell us, how did we get here?
Okay, thank you very much. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. It's a pleasure to join you and share our opinion on the issues happening in Senegal, which is quite unfortunate because, as you know, Senegal and Gambia are one people, two countries. We are one people in two countries. Why I say that is simple. It's because almost maybe 90% of indigenous Gambians have relatives in Senegal.
Indeed.
You know, so we are related to the people there, so what harms them also touches us. So this is why we should be really concerned. Well, I guess if you go a little bit by background history of Senegal political evolution, you will first of all say that there hasn't ever been, even in the continent of Africa, a more stable democracy that is worth emulating better than Senegal.
Of course.
Because the foundation stones were laid by Leopold Sédar Senghor, who until around 1976 towards 1979 was heading the Senegalese country and then leading it towards the independence that it deserved and the construction of its constitutional, mandates, etc., etc. But then he decided to leave and therefore, groomed Abdou Diouf to take over by bringing him on board from being a governor of Dakar.
Prime Minister then?
First of all, Diouf was already a governor of Dakar.
Okay.
So that means what we call a mayor today. And then he brought him as a deputy. He planned it from the beginning because he saw in Abdou Diouf the potential of a future great politician.
I see.
So he brought him from being the governor or the mayor of Dakar to being his own deputy or vice president at the time. Because remember, the constitution allowed him to be premier minister, as prime minister, head of government.
Oh, I see.
So when Leopold Sédar Senghor decided now to tender his resignation
in 1980,
yes, in 1980, it was very appropriate then to see Abdou Diouf stepping in the shoes of Senghor, even though he was not properly well groomed yet, but he was surrounded by people who were very good into politics, and he learned very fast. So he took over the helms of government, and for about 30 years, he has been, for about 20 years, he has been leading the, the Senegalese country, even within the unrest that was going on, but within a very stable democratic system. There were elections going on, and the oppositions were also there. There have been some violations of human rights at some point. Some opposition members have been held and locked. One of the key guys being Ablaye Wade of the PDS,
who
later became president in 2000 when he took over. Now, this is where the story starts evolving in a very interesting way. Ablaye Wade became the first opposition leader to take over power from a, let's say, a government that has taken over from colonialism. The first. One of the few. When he took over, that showed also the maturity in democracy in Senegal. And, it gave him an opportunity now to step in the shoes of leadership and also try to show a difference. And that also created a more vibrant opposition. A lot of other political parties emerged. And, that continued, that vibrant opposition continued. He groomed, in fact, many people. Idrissa Seck, one of them, Macky Sall. Macky Sall was one of those he has groomed. So the politics matured through that process. Now, you realize that there was a constitutional reform under Abdoulaye Wade.
Yes.
And when that constitutional reform took place, one of the controversies was after he has served 7 years and then 5 years.
He found the 7-year term mandate there.
Yes.
I see.
Yes.
He served the first one.
Yes. And then during that process, he decided to shorten the term.
To 5 years.
Yes, to 5 years. But others said it is the reverse. I'm not very sure now which one is the case.
No, I'm sure that he served 7 years.
Yes, he served 7 years. Yes. And then he changed the mandate and then he served another 5 years.
That's why there was election in 2012.
Exactly. Now in 2012 now, the argument was he eligible for a third term?
Yes.
Constitutionally, yes, he was.
Because?
Because when he made the reform, there was a referendum. And according to the Constitutional Commission, when the referendum took place, that term which he was serving was no more counted as part of the new constitution.
But the argument later became that the constitution says, before the amendment or even after.
No, but that is when Macky Sall took play over. Not during Ablaye Wade. No, not during what?
No one person should renew his mandate twice.
Well, actually, the whole point is, during Ablaye Wade's time, that was not really a controversy. The controversy was not there. The controversy was he was grooming Karim Wade what we call Dauphin. And he was putting Karim Wade, eventually, if he should win that election, he intended to have Karim Wade to sit as the president of the National Assembly.
That was the suspicion,
That the Speaker of the National Assembly. And according to their constitution, if the president steps down or goes or gets mad or dies, the one who takes over is the Speaker of the grade. So they saw the game. They saw the, he's a crafty guy.
I know.
They saw the game, and then eventually that it became an issue. So then he was already asked before, are you going to stand for the third term?
He said no.
He said no. But later at the end, he said yes. And they said, but du lolu nga waxoon. He said, wax waxeet. That is why that expression keeps coming back to him.
But that's catching up with Maki, as we will realize.
Exactly. But that's the whole point. Because the reason why Abdoulaye Wade really left in 2012 was because they refused to give him the third term. They refused to give him the third term. That's why Benno Bokk Yakaar.
But he contested actually.
He did. That's what I'm saying. He had the right to contest. It's not that he didn't have the right to contest.
It was not a question of whether the constitution barred him.
No, if he had no right to contest, if the constitution had not allowed him to contest, he wouldn't have been a candidate. That was clear. But he contested. But because they knew he was planning to bring his child to come over, it was like a dynasty going on. They refused that dynasty. So, but I mean, this was.
And interestingly, one of the instruments they used was people like Macky Sall. I mean, what I mean is that Macky was heading the resistance against him.
Yes,
Macky had to
exactly. So Macky became one of those who was flanked and supported by a lot of other minor political parties to contest against him and strengthen the opposition so that they would make sure that Abdoulaye Wade doesn't win. Because Abdoulaye Wade had a very strong background there, politically. So they won, and then they got Abdoulaye Wade out. The problem now is, the question is Macky going to be a candidate or not? That has not been ascertained yet. Even though there are references, that indicated.
He did not make it clear. But the constitution, because you are coming on the development, the evolution of the constitution.
Yes.
Now, after Macky took over in 2012, okay. Now there is a clause now that no person should serve twice. More than twice as head of state.
Yeah, but the Constitutional Commission did not use that at all. They have confirmed that if Macky is willing to go a third term, he can. Because that cannot stop him. Remember, he cannot serve 2 terms if those 2 terms are within the constitution that has been on referendum already. It didn't say even during a referendum. It didn't indicate, it wasn't explicit. So here I stand to be corrected, but it was never explicit that after a referendum, during the time that you are active, that term is still considered as first term. So this argument has been going on.
But there is a clause now after the referendum, which says no person
can serve 2 terms.
Yes.
But after the referendum.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying.
But that's what I'm saying.
He served a term.
No, but that term is no more part of the referendum.
No, after the referendum happened.
Lamin, the argument is, during the term that he was serving, is that part of the term that is now considered as 2 terms? No, that's where the argument lies.
But when the constitution said no person should serve 2 terms, it doesn't say.
But the constitution,
the term before.
No, but there is no law that goes back also.
Okay,
but they said a law cannot what we record.
But in any case, as it happened in Abdoulaye Wade's case, we had Macky Sall on tape, on video, saying that I can only serve 2 terms. I can renew mine in 2019, but I cannot renew. I have to go out.
Yes, but it's Wahed. Because he has also, in an interview he had, in a Senegalese, in a France interview, and it was also, I think, shared by L'Express or something like that, that he said, look, the Constitutional Commission has said, if I wish to serve another term, I can serve another term. But he didn't say, I will serve another term. It just says that nothing bars me from serving another term.
Even after saying that he would.
But that's what I'm saying. He said that. We agreed. Initially, he was very clear that he was not going to serve another term.
Now.
But now he is very quiet about it, and people in his own camp are already, as saying that he's going to be on his third term. So if he is not publicly denying this, he has not been unequivocal about it. That he's not going to stand.
That is what.
So as a result, there is what we call that hanging possibility that he might stand for his third term, and if he does, constitutionally he is eligible. But whether people want him in the third term is another question.
Okay, let me bring in Mr. Jamanka here. Jamanka, you have Doctor brought the history of all what we come here. Maybe you pick it up from here. What do you think are the current problems?
Yes, Doctor makes some good revelations here, because Ablai Wad, the 7-term mandate.
7-year mandate.
Yes, the 7-year mandate. He brought a referendum in 2001, where they brought a new constitution, and the constitution outlined you have to serve 2 terms. But then that constitution came into existence after 2007 also. Because when he came into power in 2008, 2000, sorry, he was sworn in by that constitution, which have 7 years.
Yes.
So that's why doctor is saying that he was eligible to stand. Okay. But the problem is, he was making some proposals that the threshold of 50% is going to be reduced to 25%. Like, for example, if you have 25% or more, then you don't go for second round.
Yes.
Do you understand?
I understand.
Then, again, he brought an other reform. He wanted the post of a vice president inside. So they thought now, if that is accepted, it means if he wins the election, he's going to serve only 1-2 years, and then he will hand over power to his son, because he will appoint the son as vice president.
That was his suspicion.
That was the suspicion. Because it happened, because they only refer to Yekale, just how Senghor did to Abdou Diouf.
Where's Ja?
Abdou Diouf.
Oh, Diouf.
Yes, when Senghor resigned 31st December 1980, he just handed over to Abdou Diouf. And Abdou Diouf was then the prime minister. And Abdou assumed power from 1st January 1981.
Automatically, yeah.
Automatically. But Senghor was presiding a one-party state.
Almost.
The 63 elections, he was not contested. He contested alone. The 68 elections, he contested alone. The 1973 elections. But then the writings were clear for him, because you remember after he changed the constitution in December 1962, where he neutralized Ja. And then about the prime minister, then they make it a presidential regime, and he locked up Ja with Joseph Mbai, Ibrahim Assar and co.
Yeah.
They were tried 1963 from May 9 to May 13, and then subsequently he freed him 1974 after serving 10 or 11 years.
Exactly.
But then the writings were clear for him on the wall that where we are heading, there should be reform. It is then when Ablai Wade came and formed the PDS in October 1974. But remember, Ablai Wade also was inside Senghor's camp. You understand? So Senghor created his opposition, but then he managed it well. 1978 he contested with Wade, multi-party democracy came, and then 1980 he just quit and then gave it to Diouf. Diouf also, he was credited for being somebody who opened and widened the democratic space in Senegal.
Really?
Because under Diouf he said, Jaka Bangini Kumon Nodal. He encouraged multi-party.
He was liberal. Everybody was free.
Yes. You have the LDMPT, the PIT. You have many political parties. All these London Sawan, the Danso, the Bachili, all the from their parties. But 2000 was a landmark in Senegalese political history, and Senegal became a democracy, as Barry said, very much matured, and everybody was emulating Senegal. Because remember, when Abdou Diouf was won by Wade, he accepted defeat. Conceding defeat by then in Africa is very difficult.
It was difficult.
But he considered defeat.
The only precedent was Zambia.
Yes.
And President
Kaunda
and
Chulu. Yes. Then this when he accepted defeat, many people were saying, because it was the elections were supervised by the Interior Ministry. I think Lamin Caesar was there by then. But they held an election which is very fair, and Ablai Wade won, and then he congratulates Wade. That was very, very important.
So Senegal
was a landmark.
Senegal was seen as a model.
Yes, a model of democracy. All people emulate Senegal.
Exactly.
But then people who were born in 2000, 2001, up to date now are 22, 23 years, 20 years, 19 years. Most of these Sonko's followers, you will say they are born after that. They were born in an era where it's total democracy. Different people who were struggling in the 1970s. You remember even Abdou Diouf and Ablai Wade have some couple of showdowns. 1988 was one of them. Until a state of emergency was enacted in the Dakar area. You remember, an ambulance even happened. 1988.
Elections in 88. They had elections.
Yes. But Abdoulaye Wade contested the election in February 29, 1988. To an extent, he was even arrested for a couple of months, and he was released. And the state of emergency was lifted in May.
And later the students demonstrated.
Yes. 1993 also. Those elections also, you remember, even the Constitutional Council Vice President Babakar Sey also was killed. It was very tough. 1994 January, there were some demonstrations, even six people died. You understand? But there was none of this one that we see today. On the one that followed before on the 1st June, the 3rd March 2001, and this 4th June 2023.
So what do you think really led to this one?
Yes, because for me, I think Macky Sall, he has done a lot. No one can dispute that.
Okay.
Infrastructure, he has done. He done a lot.
He was credited to be a visionary leader.
Yes, I am not an economist, but some economists, I hear them say their economy, he is doing well. The GDP is doing well. Okay, you can see water, electricity. He has tried to reach it at many places. You know, the infrastructure, the same thing. He has done a tremendous work. Even the customers' crisis, he has tried to see how to deal with it. Inside Senegal, even these youths who are demonstrating, you understand? If you look at the Dakar Arena, if you look at Arena National, if you look at this Abdoulaye Wade International Stadium, he has did a lot for amusement. So he has contributed a lot. And even Gambia, 2016, when we have that impasse, he called up an emergency meeting, and his foreign minister, Mam Kerr launched a diplomatic offensive. They went to ECOWAS, AU, up to United Nations Security Resolution, and then to see the Gambian people's views are respected. So he had done something very nice. He had done well, and his trajectory is very nice. But he is ready now to destroy it.
Oh,
yes.
You mean now?
Now, yes. Yes.
Why do you think why do you say he's destroying his legacy now?
Because Macky Sall has the inability. This is my view, to manage his opponent.
So he's not capable of managing them well.
Yes. He only think if you are a strong opponent, you have to be,
jailed,
neutral, jailed, and then stop from contesting.
So you believe
Khalifa Babakar Sall is an example. Karim is an example.
Khalifa Sall.
Yes.
You believe this similar thing is been done with Usman Sonko?
Yes, because Macky Sall, it is where he has sympathy. In 2007, when he was remember, he was the Abdoulaye Wade campaign manager 2007, and he won the elections. And he was the Speaker of the National Assembly. When he called for Karim for questioning. Macky Sall, 2000, he was the advisor to Mines and Energy after Minister of Mines and Energy, Minister of Interior. April 21st, he was made the Prime Minister. 2004. You understand? Up to 2007, he led the campaign for Wade won, and then he was made the Speaker of the National Assembly. But when he called Karim, because projects, those NOC projects, the OIC project, many other infrastructural projects, they were not Karim. When they said it was an outcome, they are mismanaged, he called Karim for questioning in the National Assembly, and then
that's where the trouble started.
Trouble started for him. Up to an extent, his mandate even was reduced to 1 year, and finally he was kicked. You understand? And he has sympathy for that. Remember, that's why when the Beno Sigil Senegal, these people, Nyas and Tenor, when they were unable to agree into terms, that is why Macky Sall came into power. But not Macky Sall brought a program that is of economical distinct or nangam. No, he just brought a program of reform.
I see.
That what these people are doing, you cannot do this and this and this
so
and this.
Macky benefited from the disillusionment of people and the grievances people had about Wade, especially in terms of suspicion that he wanted his son to succeed. Macky Sall was the greatest benefactor of that sympathy.
Yes. Remember the M20 Petrol demonstration?
Yeah, remember all that, yes. The June 23 demonstration. So he was the greatest benefactor, but you believe now he's taking the Senegalese through back the same pattern as Wade was doing?
Yes.
And you believe he's destroying his legacy?
And if he is eligible to stand for third term, all these legalities, if if you charge somebody for rape, and you charge him for threatening to murder threats, you brought him to court, you tried him, you acquit him from murder threat and then rape, and you said, okay, corruption of the youth, nangam, and finally, convict him, a conviction where that will lead to him losing his civic rights, and then he is seen to be a symbol of hope for the youth and many people who believes in his programs. You understand? Here comes a problem. It will take only Macky Sall 2 sentences to calm down the situation, to say, I am not going to seek for that term. I am going to organize elections that are free and fair and all inclusive, and there will be peace.
Good. Well, much easily said, but very difficult to be done. Doctor, I think Mr. Jamanka really painted a very vivid picture of how Senegalese politics have come into it. But he's unequivocal as to who to blame for the current problems. He believes President Sall is the one who has the key to solve the whole issues. Number one, even if he thinks he is eligible to contest, why disqualifying others? I mean, there's been a precedent. He said seemingly the case of Karim Wade and Macky Sall, or rather Khalifa Sall, seem to be seem to tell us that I mean, same fate actually is what has been meted out to Ousmane Sonko.
Yes, definitely. If you look at the way things have been evolving since he took power in 2012, it seems to lead to that conclusion, certainly. Because he
uses the criminal justice system to eliminate potential rivals, big rivals.
Yes, certainly that is what it is, what it shows. Because definitely, I mean, Karim Wade was taken to court for corruption. Khalifa Sall, who was then the mayor of Dakar, also had to face charges, and eventually, incarcerated. Who he pardoned, later, he pardoned them. But
he later said that, in fact, even Karim and Sall can be, well, I don't know whether he's already granted them immunities for them to be able to contest election.
Well, I'm not very certain about that.
He
but
said that's possible.
Yes, so then that gives them an opportunity to come back. But the case of Ousmane Sonko became unique in the sense that, as Jamanka said, one, he seems to have a representation of the voice of the youth. That has seemed to emerge in Senegal and seeing politics differently now.
He seemed to have it. I mean,
yes, there's a resonance. There's a resonance with the youth about how they call it, Sonko being a youth himself, and them seeing for the first time a youth taking up politics to this level. Because if you notice, initially, anytime there are elections coming up, this seems to be, within a tight circle of old politicians, within the corridors of power. The Idrissa Secks, the Macky Salls, the Abdoulaye Bachilis and others. Yes. So, this has been a history that has been evolving for many years in Senegal.
For the first time now, a youth has
Yes, so Karim Wade came, but Karim Wade's, if I can use that expression, wings were clipped too early, because before he could even emerge, as a politician, immediately he was already, sidelined. And then Khalifa Sall didn't have the opportunity to expand his horizon beyond Dakar. He got popularity very much in Dakar, but not beyond Dakar, that much. But Ousmane Sonko came in, certainly, as people would see, more as the voice of a youth, because they saw him as a youth, and then they start now seeing things emerging that is potentially seen to be, a kind of a threat to him or to his opportunities to become the next president of Senegal. And what really made it worse is the fact that there is still uncertainty whether Macky Sall wants to be president or not. And because certainly, and I've been going through a little while on the constitutions again. Now, if you look at it from this perspective, Abdoulaye Wade took a 7-term president's mandate in the first one. And then in 2001, he changed the constitution and reduced it to 5. But then when he took up the 5 years in 2008, he decided to reduce again the constitution from 5 to, he increased it again from 5 to 7.
That's what
that is before he finished. So when he finished in 2012, he wanted to come in for a mandate of 7 years.
7 years again.
Well, when he lost, Macky Sall came in for a mandate of 7 years.
The mandate of 7, but changed.
Yes. But then during that period, he also made a referendum in which that is around 2016, in which the referendum said no president shall now have any 2 terms of 5 years, more than 5 years.
After the referendum in 2016.
After the referendum.
After Maki had assumed office for 4 years.
Yes, but then apparently, according to Maki, when he was interviewed with on the Express very recently in France, he said the Constitutional Council was consulted and was asked whether his 7 years mandate was part of
who constituted the Constitutional Council?
Well, the Constitutional Council was constituted by a legal constitution, but because in Senegal, when you are working on it's like our Constitutional Review Commission here. You know, you constitute a council that will now work on.
They're supposed to be independent.
Well, they're supposed to be independent. So, but then when these people were working on the constitution, that question was raised to them, according to Macky Sall, and what they responded was, you have a 7-year mandate that would not be affected because this one is a 5-year renewable once.
But then, listen.
So it's only,
but where the problem is.
And this was the first time the 2-term limit was made.
No, the problem is, the referendum was made in 2016.
Yes.
After Macky had served 4 years.
Yes.
And he was actually going to serve for 7 years.
Yes.
But 4 years along the way,
yes,
he introduced a referendum which says now it should be 5 years.
Yes.
But nobody should serve twice.
More than two terms of 5 years.
So now,
more than 2 terms of 5 years.
Macky wants people to believe that it is this new 5 years that should not be done more than twice.
Exactly.
And not necessarily when I started.
That's fine, because remember, constitutions also, when they come into referendum, when a new republic comes, in most cases, when a new republic comes, the laws of the constitution they are not retroactive.
Okay,
in other words, what happens is that the constitution takes effect from the next mandate of the president.
Let's go back to the ECOWAS.
Remember, let me just give you an example. Let me just give you an example. This is what Guinea did.
Yeah, that is what Alpha Condé.
That's what Alpha Condé did. When Alpha Condé realized now he was losing his last mandate, you know, and I think it was what year? I think it's 2016 or 2015 or something like that.
Yeah.
He decided, therefore, he was going to review the constitution because he expressly wanted to take out the term limits.
That's right. That's where the problem is. How can we continue? To have people who will use the constitutional means to elongate, their terms, relying on the fact that the constitution allows it.
Because the constitution, because you have to understand that the structures that will allow this kind of thing to happen are not yet strong, what we call the democratic institutions. The institutions that are supposed to help that process to be strong, they are not very, very strong. They are still influenced by the government. In the case of Senegal, unfortunately, it's not the case. Well, today it's true that the judiciary is now being accused of really conniving with Macky Sall, to allow him to have opportunities of that kind.
Yeah.
Until Macky Sall is very clear about his position, which he has refused to give. Even during that very recent interview with France, he said, "Look, that for the meantime, I'm more focused on my work. And when the time comes, I will say." But normally it doesn't happen that way. Because presently, this is the moment to start even campaigning. Exactly. This is the moment to mobilize support. Exactly. This is the moment to tell your electorate that you are interested to stand. And this is the moment when the whole electoral process should be preparing itself for elections.
The American election is 1 year, 3-4 months away, or 1.5 years away.
And it's already very vibrant.
And already they've met.
Yes.
Senegal is just 6-7 months to come.
Exactly.
And he's still... But then, even in that silence, some of his people have started saying that, and he didn't come out to say no. He didn't deny it.
Yes, I think this is why I said the controversy is still there. Is he going to stand or is he not going to stand? Some people said he's not going to stand. Others said he's going to stand. But what is clear is that there's a set of people who are within the opposition who are well prepared
that he
to
will
oppose his intention to stand.
Even the civil society.
Yeah, but what I'm...
Whereas he was arguing that after the constitutional referendum in 2016, he is saying that actually it's the new 5-year terms that I should not renew twice.
Exactly.
The people believe that the very day that clause came into the constitution, it means no person. And if you go to the ECOWAS protocols, it doesn't bother itself with when your term began. It just said no single person. I mean, it's a question of morality.
Yes.
No single person should do more than twice.
Yes.
I mean, that is where the argument should end. Whether you started yesterday or today, no single person should serve more than 2
But
terms.
have you observed certain things that have been now?
So anybody who wants to go beyond 2 terms is suddenly
but have you
illegally
observed certain things that have also been emerging in most of the francophone countries? Let's take Cote d'Ivoire, for example.
Where
Alassane Ouattara served 2 terms, and it was understood that he was going to step down. Apparently, he already had someone who was going to stand on, in his party, and he was going to support the guy, and the person died. So when he presented himself, everybody asked, "But isn't there any other candidate that can lead the party other than you?" But then he got the strong support of the French because they felt that he should go in there, and unfortunately, they have a very strong hold in Cote d'Ivoire. So eventually, they kind of influenced the politics towards allowing Alassane Ouattara.
That was illegal.
But that's what I'm saying. So what happened in Cote d'Ivoire, what happened in Guinea-Conakry could be from a political analysis, precedence to what is now being seen, emerging in some other countries, like Senegal.
But it's meeting resistance, unlike the Cote d'Ivoire and the... But even in Guinea, it met resistance. Similarly, people were killed.
Yes. In fact, they even closed the whole borders for 1 year plus.
People were killed.
Yes, they closed the border for more than a year.
People were killed resisting it.
Yes, people were killed.
And eventually, Conte himself was kicked out by the military.
Yes.
In Cote d'Ivoire, even though Ouattara survived, but it's been roundly condemned that that really was illegal.
It was illegal.
But then in Senegal's case, we have seen already massive resistance.
Yes.
And where do you think now? Because it looks like multidimensional. Now, there are a lot of people, massive opposition or resistance to any suggestion for a third term.
Yes.
On the other hand, you have the conviction of Ousmane Sonko. I mean, his supporters are saying that over their dead body, he's not going to go to prison.
Yes.
Then these other people said over their dead body, Macky Sall is not going to go for a third term. Is Macky not cornered now? What do you think he will do?
Well, I have to say that I don't envy his position.
At the moment?
No, I don't.
Are you aware of him going around,
Yeah, he's calling for a political dialogue. I think this is also probably one step towards trying to see how best he can douse the problem. He's also calling the political, religious leaders to also help.
He went even to Touba.
Yeah, he went to Touba recently.
2 days ago.
Yeah, so he's probably making effort to see that everything calms down. And to some extent, the reason why Sonko is also convicted of, inciting the youths, is because he has a very strong voice, a very strong following among the new emerging youths of Senegal. And he did call for a demonstration. He didn't say a violent one. He said for a peaceful demonstration.
Yes, but then...
But demonstrations end up normally...
But he can always say, I did not send people to the street and I didn't kill them. Now let's talk about, because that become an issue, Papa Jamanka. The issue now is the demonstration, the killing of the demonstrators. I mean, I have seen civic society, even Maki's own opposition, calling the whole thing crimes against humanity, even calling for ICC to investigate the Senegalese government and those who did the shooting. There have been issues over that. Have you been following?
Yes, and that is rather unfortunate. And I know Ousmane Sonko will not call for a demonstration whereby he will say people kill people or shoot people. And I don't think
he blamed Macky Sall for killing the people.
Okay,
but
I don't think
I
don't think Macky Sall also said kill people. You understand?
Macky did.
I mean, I said I did not hear him also say.
No, Macky will not do that.
Yes,
but people say who called for demonstration in the first place.
Yes, I'm coming. The reason that the demonstration happened is there is somebody that they think is suppressed, and then he said, let the people not allow that for him to be suppressed like his other predecessors, the way they were did, because he represents the people. You understand? Okay. So people went out now to demonstrate to say that will not happen. You understand? In the event that it turned out to be a riot. Now videos are out. People are saying there are people within the police force, they were killing their nervous. People are saying, okay, there are some bandits also who infiltrated the demonstration and burning and looting people's property. But then there's one thing that Mr. Jam, the Jamaican reggae singer Peter Tosh released an album in 1977. The title track of the album is Equal Rights.
Peter Tosh.
Yes, he said everyone is crying out for peace, but none is crying out for justice. And there will be no peace if there is no justice. And justice must have to be seen done You understand? The more just, Macky Sall himself, what gave him sympathy is that, remember?
Yeah. People were,
Yes.
it was a symbol of people,
Yes.
somebody's
Yes.
going out for justice.
Because he was doing something right. He was kicked out from National Assembly. He was kicked out from the party. He went and formed his own party. Then he himself, if you listen to his tapes, that's what he was saying. You understand? For me, even for me, I'm not in this as Mr. Barry. Mr. Barry knows these constitutional laws as like you. For me, I'm not that much grounded on these laws. But what I'm saying, sometimes you are the president and you have seen where it reaches now. Even whereas there is no clause that said you can do 2 consecutive terms, you can go, you can do it. Now you have seen what had happened, and even if you have a 3rd term, you cannot do more than what you have done within your 2 term. This 12 years, that what he done, he cannot do more than that again. So to give peace a chance, to give peace a chance, just simple, organize free and fair elections. Keep yourself out of it, and then Karim Wada, Halifa Sallah, Bugan Gidani, Usman Sonko, let them go and campaign, and the Senegalese people will give their vote to whom they want, and you will serve your legacy. Because for me, what Macky Sall have in Senegal, no president had it. Remember, even sports. Look at they won
almost everything.
Almost everything.
In football.
What Wolf said, Warsack. We have Warsack. So that Warsack also let him not destroy it. He has a good trajectory in Senegal. And Macky Sall, look, from advisor, minister, prime minister, speaker, president. Who have that in this world?
He had it all. He has it all.
Now you have more than 20 years. You are in the corridors of power. You understand? So now, because you see the 7 years, the genesis even is Abdou Diouf who put it there, 1993. Because what Abdou Diouf his plan was, let me bring 7 years so as it will match the millennium. He did election 83, his first election.
So he wanted to be
88,
there.
93. These are all 5 years. Yeah. But he said, now I'm going to make 7 years so that we will have elections 2000. Then every 5 years, 2000, 2005. This was his plan. But he also was accused that he wanted to hand over power to Tenor Jang. Because this also led the PS crisis.
Tenor was very powerful.
Between Mustafa Niasse. Mustafa went out, create IFP. Djiboka went out, create Renouveau. You understand? But then he lost the election and he accepted wholeheartedly, and then he went. He was honored forever.
Now, Doctor, do you think even if Macky Sall intends to run, wouldn't it not be easier for him or more acceptable or palatable to the Senegalese people if he allow other people to also to run?
Well, in any democratic...
The problem is, the fundamental problem is that he found it necessary to disqualify others because he feared they will defeat him.
First of all, I think if his intention really, which seems to be leading to that, is to stifle the efforts of his opposition and make sure that he clips their wings not to be able to contest, he might not still succeed because remember, as I said, Senegalese politics is very vibrant. You can have an emerging party that will now create a coalition and have members of the other parties having all in, and once they come into power, they can erase all of that. They can have somebody who was there. You can even change some of the laws to say that those who have been condemned in the past, have been given a complete pardon, and now they can.
Do you think even if Sonko was not able to run for one reason or the other, do you think there still exist among the opposition elements who can be able to galvanize the support he has to beat Macky at the polls?
Well, you see, elections can be very surprising. You have to understand that there is what we call elections in which people vote to take out a leader. You understand? Like what happened to Abdoulaye Wade. People converge behind Macky Sall, not because they love Macky Sall, or maybe some did love Macky Sall, but I'm saying that the majority,
as Jamanka said.
yes, but the majority, I believe, felt that Abdoulaye Wade was trying to uphold the power and make it a family business.
Just like it happened in 2016 against Jammeh.
Because they were calling that Dauphin, le Dauphin. So they call Karim Wadlo Dauphin, meaning that he is the successor of the father. Because Dauphin means a successor of a father.
Exactly.
It's like a family business.
Family thing.
So
The
this
dynasty
is
he wanted.
mainly the anger of the electorate. And this is why they sided someone they feel could now just push him out because he has the strength, and then he will sit. So this is what brought Macky Sall in.
So
now,
is there any such person now, apart from Sonko?
Well, we cannot tell because I'm not very much conversant with all the other political party members.
There was a charismatic mayor in Dakar, but many people seem to see that he's compromised now.
Well,
what about Halifa Sall?
That is the case. But if Halifa Sall, as you have rightly said, he has been exonerated now of all these charges and has been made eligible to stand.
Macky still have this thing hanging over them, this sword of Damocles. He said he could give them, amnesty to enable them to contest. But if he turns out that one of them is going to be, he might as well still keep the convictions. I mean, Macky is trying to play this game up to the last minute.
But Chams,
yes.
Imagine that Macky Sall said, okay, Osman Sonko will not stand, he will lose his civic rights, and I will not stand, or we will all stand on. If we keep Osman Sonko even out of the race, there's somebody that people did not follow keenly. Bugan Gaydani. They have to, Bugan, the proprietor of Sen TV, Gomsa Bopa. You see, Gomsa Bopa is doing what Macky Sall was doing. 2009, Beno Sigue Senegal, they sweep the local government elections.
Yes.
But then they were unable to agree who is going to lead the coalition between Nyas and Jang. But when Macky Sall formed his party and he read the political situation nice, he just went on campaigning. And that's what Bugan is doing presently.
I see. So you mean he can...
Even there are this gender something, he can be a potential distinct.
Alternative.
Yes, alternative.
Yes.
The issue now is, can anybody be able to in position now to galvanize Sonko's supporters to the polls without him?
If it is evident that Usman Sonko is now compromised, and chances are he will not be a candidate at all because he's already sentenced to 2 years.
Yeah, but the thing is, the people are not accepting the sentence.
But what I'm saying, he's already sentenced. Whether they accept it or not, he's sentenced.
Yeah, but the thing is, now what do you do with him? I mean, if you cannot put him in prison, how can you stop him from contesting?
Okay, but if he's sentenced, whether he's in prison or not, if he's sentenced, he's already clearly invented that he's a convict. Yeah. And once he's a convict, he has lost the opportunity of becoming a candidate.
But who's going to implement it? Who's going to stop it? If you cannot put him in prison, how can you stop him from not being the power?
Remember, elections are also governed by certain institutions. So certainly there are the right institutions that are in place that should be foreseen things. Because if he goes now to present himself as a candidate, they will refuse. They say you're a convict.
You're a convict.
Yes.
Because they
have the Seni. That is the constitutional. It's like the what we have here, like the IEC. Yes. They have the constitutional electoral commission in their place, and that will also refuse him candidature because they will say you have been convicted. So you cannot be eligible to stand.
Which is the objective of the Macky Sall?
So so if that happens now, as Jamanka is saying, we should be anticipating an emerging candidate who will probably be able to galvanize all that support behind him. Because everybody now would say, okay, you know what, we know that this man is not going to go, he was our candidate, but we really do not want Macky again, and they will probably just go behind that candidate just to get Macky out. That is a possible scenario. So I cannot see any other alternative at this stage.
But have you been following the the national dialogue? It's been suggested that Macky reportedly suggested that let's postpone the elections for 2 years. There's a possibility of postponing election for 2 years. And have you heard that?
No, I haven't. But if that is supposed to happen, I think it's going to put petrol on the fire.
It's widely rumored. But it's widely rumored.
It's widely rumored. But that's never happened.
Well, that's never happened. But I'm just saying, if he pushes that agenda too, there's a potential for more destability in this country. And presently, already, I think there's a lot that is going on there. A lot of destructions are going on, both at the university premises and other institutions, that are really of serious concern.
Yes.
So in my view, that is my own personal view, I think it is not going to be a political good move to decide to push the elections now. Because I think the whole idea is that there's instability, so people are not ready for elections.
Exactly.
But the whole point is people are willing to go to elections even 24 hours before the election day. People are willing, I'm telling you. So because of what is happening now. But if he pushes for 2 years now, would that also give an opportunity for Usman Sonko to be exonerated before that and be able to stand as a candidate?
That is what people suggested. Maki wanted, the election postponed, so he would be there for 2 years. Within that time, of course, this guy would have served, or at least the conviction would have been.
I'm not sure what the constitution said, but if you are a convict, is it after you serve your conviction that you can become eligible, or once you are a convict, you are no more eligible?
Well, that's how it should be. But I heard in Senegal, you can be pardoned, or you serve out, you may be able to be eligible.
Okay.
But the whole issue now, Jamanka and Doctor, is what do you think in terms of implications this may be for Gambia, and what should be Gambia's role and concern?
I started my discussion here, if I can start first, that we are one people,
in
two nations. It's like we are in a glass house today, and they are throwing stones at Senegal, our neighbor. So if we keep quiet about it, if we are not prepared about anything, the fear is it might fall, it might have a spillover in our country. Because our economy, a host of things that are running inside our country is very much tied to Senegal. Very much tied to Senegal. There's even rumor that this year's Tobaski is going to be very tough for a lot of people, because most of the time, a large part of the ship
I haven't seen
that is coming. That is sold in the Gambia here is coming from Senegal, because we are not breeding enough.
And
we are not raising enough.
It's only a little over 2 weeks.
Yes, and even if it is coming from Sierra Leone or from Mauritania or from Mali, it still have to go through Senegal. And if Senegal is finding the stability in its country, it will start closing its borders, or at least putting more stringent measures to control its borders. And probably some of these things will not pass through.
I haven't seen much.
No, I haven't seen much too. So I'm just saying,
by this time
there is an economic spillover that might jeopardize our economic life here, because prices might start hiking.
Yeah.
Because I have to tell you, most of the imports, unfortunately, are now passing through Senegal.
That's just
and with this stability, it means that transport probably will have to be blocked. So a lot of commodities that we are probably enjoying here will probably be blocked somewhere.
It has started. Even football is stopped there.
Yes. So what will happen eventually is that the price hike is going to be, completely an explosion. And before Tobaski here, people would completely unable to buy anything for their Tobaski. That might lead to
that is the simple one, the security implications also.
The security implications too. As I said, we share only one border, with only one country. We have only one border. We share only with one country. And this stability is on both sides of the borders. Because it's in Casamance and also in Dakar and in the other one. So what we are seeing now is that if we are cornered in between.
Absolutely.
We are cornered in between. We are completely surrounded.
What should we have? Many people commended the government for coming out with a statement, but people say we should be seen more tangibly in the efforts to
maybe what we also prudent about is that, first of all, we know that part of the ECOWAS, we have a large part of them who are already part of the Senegalese army.
Yeah.
And certainly, if it comes to the worst, their priority would be to defend their own country.
Yes.
They have been spread across the borders to protect the Gambia.
Yes.
So if things are going to spill over, probably now that means their mandate would probably shift a little, even though they are here representing ECOWAS. It might shift a little inadvertently. That is going to be a spontaneous thing to want to defend their country. So things might come at a point where there would be a kind of a security, threat for us, because even them who should have been protecting us now are more concerned about protecting their own country. So it will leave a gap in our own security. So maybe it's the best option. I'm sure probably government is already thinking about it, is to immediately constitute a kind of a security council or security committee that would discuss and see what security measures they can put in place to protect our borders immediately in the event this spills over and gets to our country. And what other possible security measures can be put also within the country, because know that there is a larger number of Senegalese in this country than in any other country. Yeah, so if things get out of hand, it might also erupt within our own country and might create some other havoc here.
Exactly, because here you go into the streets, you hear people, Senegalese, almost fighting, Usman Sonko, Macky Sall, etc., etc. So
no, we might have almost probably even 2/3 or say 1/3 of our population, general population who are Senegalese.
Absolutely.
As I said, we are one people. Many Senegalese are here who are feeling more at home, staying here, but they are still linked to their country.
Absolutely.
So anything could happen. So
Jamanka, what are the implications, you think?
Just like Doctor said, I always say Senegambia is what all of say Bena Rusi Nyari Yaram is one soul in two bodies.
Absolutely.
Because in Senegambia, you'll have people who share the same mother and father, and the other will be Senegalese, the other will be Gambian. We are singing here. I am Doctor. We can be the same mother and father, and Doctor will migrate to Senegal, work there. I have my son, give it to Doctor. Doctor will have will be having him there. You know, he will do in school there in Senegal.
Exactly.
You understand? After he will end up being a Senegalese. You understand?
Yes,
So we are one people.
Yeah.
Therefore, what doctor said, I think we should do that. We will thank the government. They have come out with a statement. It's nice, and I have seen the likes of Sidi Khalifa. They also came to say something. People, you are also organizing these forums. Gambians are talking. I think Senegalese will take advice from it. But then I think also maybe behind closed doors they are talking to each other. Maybe they are talking to Macky Sall and explain to him what are the implications if these things are the way things are going. If it turns to be how people are suspecting, it might not be good for Senegambia. And you know, Senegal said they cannot afford to see Gambia having a security crisis because it means Senegal is into crisis. But then now, if Senegal is to have security crisis, then Gambia is finished. Because when Senegalese catches cold, sneezes, you know, when Senegal sneezes, Gambia catches cold.
Absolutely.
You understand?
Yeah.
So now we are one people, and we have to talk to each other and then, you know, advise each other. That's why even anybody who knew me know I'm a very fan of Yusundu. I like him very well.
Okay.
For me,
yeah,
he's my fan. Every year, first October, I do have his music played on my radio. I celebrate that day. But I want people like him also to take his artistic voice or activist voice and then speak to Macky Sall.
I saw videos of him of the last time when Macky was fighting Ablaye Wade. He was there, but they're asking what is he doing
Yes,
now?
and he, even internationally, remember when Hans Bullick, the weapon expert, went to Iraq and said Iraq don't have weapons of mass destruction. You remember? But George Bush said no, Iraq have it. He fought for a resolution, and then he said he's going to send his troops, the Allied forces, to Iraq. Remember, Yusundur came out on CNN, anywhere. He said this is not right. It's wrong.
Sorry.
You understand? And he said, and he said, he cancelled all his more than 50 shows, and he lose a lot of money. But he defend human rights all around the world.
Only that this
and
time,
what is happening under his knees, he should also talk. I think
only that this time, you should know, unfortunately, he's been seen by the opposition to be supporting Macky Sall, and they're asking him to come out and, you know, speak out as he did against Ablaye Wade when similar things are happening. Are you disappointed that your star is not doing that?
Yes, because I feel he's a politician, he's a musician, he's an activist. Presently, he's not seeing himself as a politician or an ally to Macky Sall, but a musician. The voice that he is using internationally to calm things. Even he and Papa Wemba in the 90s, they were taken by Red Cross to sing for peace and bring peace in the Great Lakes region when the like Rwanda, Burundi, Congo, all into crisis. So we know him that
he fought for justice and many causes, many good causes.
Yes.
So you are calling on
I'm
him
appealing.
now.
Yes, I'm appealing to him because he's my star. Because people knew I celebrate him. Anybody who knew me knew that I love him, and he's presently in his backyard. There's a problem there. So you have to speak out.
Speak out.
Yes.
Doctor.
Yes.
What is the position of the Senegalese politicians, the senior ones? Idris Seck, Tenor died, isn't it? The old ones, the old guys, Ablaye Bachili, Landing Savane. Where are they, and what is their, from what you have gathered, what is their position on what is happening now?
I think what is very clear is that the focus is more on the third term issue, you know, that controversy. Most of them feel that, you know, it is not correct to have finding it very, you know, concerning to what they are seeing now happening, like the issue of
Right, like we said, Doctor, we were asking the position of the old politicians, the veterans, the Ablai Bachilis, Landi Savanes, etc., Idrissa Sex. You said their position there is mostly focused on whether Maki should have a third term or not.
Yes, because that has always been the raging debate, and this is what they have all concurred that it is not a very good idea to see Maki, you know, they're saying for a third term. People like Mina Toure also was a former Prime Minister of Maki.
Yes, yes.
He's also, you know, campaigning to, you know, to protest against that ever happening. But on one side also they feel that, you know, the demonstrations could also be avoided, you know, the destructions particularly. If people like Usman Sonko comes out and says, you know, what, look, we need to stop now, you know, we've already made our voice, we need to stop. Anything further than this is going to create more disruptions in the country.
But the problem is Sonko doesn't have access to speak to the people now.
Well, he doesn't have to be the one to speak directly to the people.
His own other people.
Yes, I mean, if he cannot access the people, then he can speak through. Well, he must be in house arrest, sort of.
The issue had been that he cannot communicate to people. But then we see pressure.
I think if his lawyers indicate his intention to calm the situation, they would allow that to happen. Because, you know, look, he's got a very strong following, and if I'm sure the demonstrators, maybe some of them are also just part of the demonstration, but not necessarily for, you know, the Sonko issue. Remember, demonstrations is like a snowball that is rolling on from a mountain coming down. It takes everything on its way. So if a demonstration begins, the well-wishers, those who really want to demonstrate and do good, probably will end up even having others who are just there to join and destroy. So this is why demonstrations in Africa mostly, you know, end up violently in most cases. But in this case, Sonko must be given an opportunity to talk to the people and to voice out the, you know, to make an appeal that people need to stop now, so that at least we get a voice. Whatever has been expressed is probably heard now, and then maybe also because this is for the peace of the nation. I think the religious leaders now must double up the effort to bring, because they have an influence on the people. Their voices are heard and listened to. They have the ndigal. If they say everybody calm down, no more violence, I mean about 90% of the people will calm down. Maybe 10% would probably start to protest, but that would be a smaller number to manage.
Sometimes they're reluctant to join, to interfere in politics.
But this is not politics anymore. This is now a disruption of peace. This is a destruction of property. Yes, I know, but I'm saying if politics get to a point, it becomes beyond politics. Now, now it's a matter of an urgent need to bring peace and stability to a country that is now seeing a lot of violence going on.
But the public doesn't know what the outcome of the meeting was.
I know there are some niggles that are coming out. I know some religious leaders have started speaking to their people. But I'm just saying that it needs to be really, the moment must be increased.
Most of the religious areas seem to be sympathetic to Sonko. I saw videos when Maki visited Tuba. Some of the people are shouting Sonko to his motorcade.
Yes.
It makes it difficult now.
And that is not going to be a surprise. As we all have observed, Sonko has greatly galvanized the support of all the youth, and the youth are increasing in number. I mean, they are becoming aware in politics. Remember, you've just mentioned it. It's almost about, is it 11 years since Maki has been in power? It was 12 years when Abdoulaye Wade was there. So most of the youth can only remember Abdoulaye Wade and Macky Sall, So it's like Gambia when Yaya Jammeh was living in 2016. The youth that came up and gave its full support because they knew only Yaya Jammeh. So they needed probably a new leaf, to turn.
What about Jamanka? You've been following. There have been waves and waves of arrests, which are still continuing. I mean, civic society and human rights bodies have been calling for, a stop to this seemingly indiscriminate arrest of people. Anybody who voices an opposition or something, sympathetic to the opposition cause is picked up. Lawyers, some bloggers we had, and even some singers. Have you been following?
Yes, but there are also people who are demanding for their release. Even the students that were arrested, I'm seeing some they are calling for them to take their student ID cards, and so that they are students, then they will be released. I know subsequently they will be
500 of them.
Yes, it's a lot of people arrested. But the dialogue that Macky Sall starts, this dialogue is a step in the right direction. Is good. I welcome it. But then let him force dialogue with Sonko.
Sonko directly.
Let them sit and then dialogue, because they have things to trash out. Then after they will all dialogue. But for me, I think if Sonko and Macky Sall should sit and dialogue. Because Sonko also is somebody also who has, I think, a degree in public law. He went to the School of Administration. He have that civil service experience, but maybe also politically, the political experience is somehow lacking. You understand? And his communication to the youth, you understand? They should allow him to communicate to the youth, because he has the direct communication to the youth. You understand? As at now, he is the one who can communicate to the youth and then tell the youth to calm down. But if he's not given chance to communicate to the youth, it's a problem. But if he sits with Macky Sall and then dialogue, I think that will be a step in the right direction. Then after any other dialogue politically that they want third term or any other, for me, I think Macky Sall has even opened that door, because he said the third term, let them just nyanko. Let them to nyan him. It's not a problem, So that's not a problem. But the problem is, let them sit with Sonko and dialogue. And I think Macky Sall and Sonko should sit and dialogue. Because the problem is
dialogue. You think what are going to be the topics on the table for dialogue, which makes it very difficult for any agreement to be reached? Is that okay? Sonko might push for the fact that stop this disqualification business.
Yes.
Okay, that is squash the convictions.
Yes.
I'm allowed to run.
Yes.
Then you do your bit. If you want to run, people catch you at the polls.
Yes.
Wouldn't you think that would be the position of Sonko?
And it's not a bad position. If that is going to bring peace, it's not a bad position.
Doctor, you think?
Well, that will be a kind of a very tricky position. But I'm just saying, I go with Jamanka here. It will not be really bad. I think it is high time now we get to a point where things starts to slow down a little, and then stability starts to come in. People have they are very over enthusiastic and very excited people around now, and the politics in Senegal, as I said, has evolved. There's a new leaf now. I mean, it is no more what it was before. History has been rewritten in the politics of Senegal from what has happened so far. So I guess it is important today more than ever.
Who needs to do this first move?
Well, as I said, it cannot be only one particular individual.
No, we seem to have arrived at an imbroglio.
Yeah.
Macky Sall has, I think many people believe it's Macky Sall now who should make a movement. One, pick Sonko and put him in jail and move on. Or he seemed to have initiated a dialogue and said the committee or task force should report to him within 15 days. So the imbroglio, the impasse stays up to 15 days, at least if Macky is going to rely on this task force recommendation.
At this present, the emergency now is to stop all possible demonstrations, because they are going to continue.
There is one being planned for today, although that's the June 23 movements.
Yes.
Who are vehemently opposed to third term anyway.
Yes, but what I'm just saying is that all demonstrations, they must try and see how best they can cope them. Now, Maki is a very wise and astute leader. He knows what is happening in his country now. I think he should, on reflection now, sit down. He has some people he can consult, can discuss with. He understands his country's psychology very well. He knows what is the power of what the leadership, the religious people can do. He knows what the opposition can do. He's been part of the opposition for some time. He knows who he can reach out to. I think it is high time that he sits and seriously reflect on how to bring this country back to stability.
Good.
And that should be an urgent, emergent thing. Yes, the committee can do their investigation. They can come in 15 days, but 15 days is too long.
It's too long at
for
a
what
time.
is
That's
happening
what I'm saying,
now.
yes.
This might have a spillover, which unfortunately he will not be forgiven for. Yes, as a leader.
Okay, Dr. Cherno Amadou, Vice Chancellor of the International Open University. Thank you very much. Edi Jamanka, otherwise Papa Jam. Thank you very much for sharing your thoughts on the brunch, on the Senegalese situation. We hope that total calm and peace is returned to Senegal, so that when we come back next week, we have fresh news to report about Senegal. Meantime, though, this Lamin Cham thanking you very much for being with the brunch today. Bye-bye for now.
I hope you understand now.
Yes.
This is your withholding tax certificate.
Thank you.
Sorry, sir. Give me a few minutes. Let me finish with her. I am not here to sit. I received an alert from my bank. It's like you made a mistake. The amount transferred to my account is different from the amount on the invoice I issued to you.
No, there is no mistake. We deducted 10% as withholding tax.
Withholding what? In fact, what is withholding tax?
As he just told me, withholding tax on contract payments is a deduction from payment made to contractors carrying out work, supply of labor or materials, and or provision of technical or consultancy services. 10% is withheld for Gambian residents and 15% for non-Gambian residents. The contractees remits the amount withheld to the nearest GRA tax office in the month of deduction or on or before the 15th of the following month.
What's my interest?
You will be issued a certificate which you should take to GRA when you go to pay your quarterly and annual tax.
What happens to the 10% deducted from my invoice?
That 10% will be less from your tax liability.
So it means the 10% is an advance payment of my tax liability. And I only pay the difference of my tax due for my quarterly and annual payment.
Correct, sir.
Buba, you should have told me this. We all know for any meaningful development to take place in a country, we must pay our taxes.
And on time.
This information is from the Gambia Revenue Authority. For more detailed information about your withholding tax obligation, please visit any of the nearest GRA offices. The Gambia Revenue Authority, collecting revenue for national development.
We live in a day and age where technology is creating a world without borders, filled with unlimited potential to improve the lives of the people around us. Innovarex Global Health ushers in a new way of leveling the playing field with increased access to quality healthcare services delivered at your doorstep. Our qualified professionals are equipped with state-of-the-art point-of-care testing technology, to conduct tests such as kidney function, liver function, electrolyte tests, body composition, hemoglobin, A1C, and many more services with the highest efficiency in delivering results. The addition to our flagship, Wellness on Wheels, more fondly known as WOW Delivery Service, brings the entire clinical experience full circle. IGH has remained committed to creating the future of healthcare delivery. Gone are the days of sending loved ones outside the country for basic medical services. Innovarex Global Health offers a new peace of mind and takes pride in delivering the quality of care we all deserve.
Islamic microfinance is becoming an increasingly popular mechanism for poverty alleviation, especially for developing countries around the world. This microfinance service adheres to the principles of Islam as a form of social responsibility. Yona Islamic Microfinance is the Islamic microfinance of choice in the Gambia, trustworthy and reliable. At Yona Islamic Microfinance, we provide savings products, current accounts, financing products in conformity with Islam. In addition, Yona Islamic Microfinance also offers local and international remittances, takaful fund, management of zakat, management of awqaf, trading and investment, and building of strategic partnerships to bring financial services to the doorstep of the poor with donor projects, madrasas, youth organizations, women groups, and farmer organizations. Make a choice with Yona Islamic Microfinance today. For more information on Yona Islamic Microfinance, call 377-2151 or 9832-151 or visit Yona head office at Tipa Garage, Bakote, or visit any Yona branch located countrywide near you.